In this video, I'm doing an overview of the X-Men by Chris Claremont and Jim Lee Omnibus Volume 1. So stay tuned. What's up, guys? BJ Kicks here. I buy comics, I read them, and I review them, all for your viewing pleasure. Welcome back to the channel, or if it's your first time here, welcome. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and tap that bell icon to be notified when I post new videos before you head out. So today, I just got this packet, or this book in earlier this week, and so I'm going to do an overview of X-Men by Chris Claremont and Jim Lee, the Omnibus Volume 1. Now, I am super excited, and I'm stretching this spine before I show the book to you, but I'm super excited to have this book, and I'm going to tell you why. So when I got into comics back in 2019, there was a couple things that I knew. I wanted to see great art, and I wanted to see Batman stories, right? So one of my coworkers, Blue, was like, well, look, if you're into Batman, then cool. And if you're into artwork, then there's no other person to look at besides Jim Lee. And I'm like, all right, cool. Well, what Jim Lee do? So the first trade paperback that I bought was Batman Hush. And that was like Jim Lee's kind of DC Comics debut. So he did that story with Jeff Loeb. It was 12 issues. It was a great story. It was cool. I love the artwork. And so then I started looking up Jim Lee, seeing like other things that he did. And of course, the most famous thing that Jim Lee has done is the X-Men. He drew and co-plotted the story for the best-selling comic book of all time, which is X-Men #1. It sold like 7 million copies. That record still stands. It's still the best-selling single-issue comic book of all time. So that kind of led me on this whole quest, like, well, look, I need to get Jim Lee's X-Men. So I collected Jim Lee's Adjectiveless X-Men run from issues 1 to 11, including the somewhat heating up issue #4, first appearance of Omega Red. So I got that. That was the first run that I ever collected. And then they started releasing these omnibus reprints. So I was like, all right, well, they say if you're going to learn about the X-Men, then you got to read Chris Claremont's X-Men run. He's the best writer for X-Men. I'm like, all right, cool, but I'm not paying those prices. Those omnibus were all out of print when I got into X-Men. So I was like, whatever, I'm just not going to get it. This book in particular, this X-Men by Jim Lee and Chris Claremont Volume 1 and Volume 2, which is what includes all of that, those X-Men stories I was telling you about, the 90s X-Men that you can see on this box behind me. That's all in Volume 2. But this has some of Jim Lee's earlier work on the X-Men. But anyway, those books were out of print and they were going for ridiculous prices. But then all of a sudden, Marvel starts announcing reprints. And so I decided, all right, well, I'm going to go all in on the X-Men. So I'm going to eventually read a full run of X-Men, from giant size X-Men to modern day stuff. I'm probably going to skip out on a few stories, but I want to read all the important stuff. So right now I'm collecting the Uncanny X-Men Omnibus. We're up to Volume 3 right now. I got Volume 1, I got Volume 2, and hopefully my Volume 3 comes soon. It was out of stock at Diamond. They didn't ship it to my comic shop even though I pre-ordered it. So I've got an order out with in-stock trades, and I'm praying that they come through. Comic gods, shine down. But anyway, this isn't about those. This is Adjectiveless X-Men. Now, why they didn't just space this out, I don't know. But Adjectiveless X-Men by Chris Claremont and Jim Lee. So let's see what this collects. This collects Uncanny X-Men numbers, issues 244 to 269. The X-Men Annual 13 and Classic X-Men number 39. Now, this does say it's a Jim Lee and Chris Claremont omnibus, but most of the artwork is not done by Jim Lee. And Mark Silvestri is credited on here as well, which is probably for good reason. We got artwork by Mark Silvestri. I'm pretty sure Will Spertasio is in here. But there's some pretty cool stuff in here. In this book, we see the first appearance of Gambit. We've got that classic X-Men 268 with the Wolverine, Captain America. And we got Wolverine, Captain America, and Black Widow on that cover. There's a lot of cool moments in this omnibus. So I'm excited to have it. And then the next one's got even more of the stuff that I'm familiar with. But let's do this. I'm going to take this slip cover off. Well, no. First, let me change the camera view so that you can take a look at this omnibus with me. All right, guys. So we switched up that camera view. Now let's take a look at this hardcover. I went ahead and removed. Actually, I should say about this cover. This is the direct market edition cover. I do think the standard market or standard edition cover was the objectively better cover. This is like something that Jim Lee drew for a Marvel House ad. It was originally designed to be like a double page spread. I think it served a better purpose that way, but whatever. Who am I to judge, right? So I'm just glad I was able to get this book. I actually was going to get this online, but then my comic shop actually had reserved a copy for me, and I forgot to tell them I wanted the standard cover and not the DM. So there we go, DM variant. So let's look at the hardcover. That classic X-Men logo that I remember from the animated series, but I mean, it's been the logo forever. Here on the spine, it just says X-Men, nothing special, and then there's nothing on the back. I'm going to go ahead and open this up. I did stretch the spine out while I was talking to you guys earlier, so don't freak out on me in the comments or anything. So here we go. We got that cover from X-Men 268. We got, I want to say Cyclops, Captain America, Black Widow, and Wolverine all together in Madripoor. And then we got Gambit and Storm on this other issue, or this other photo. And so, like I said, this book is an X-Men omnibus, and it's credited as being like Chris Claremont and Jim Lee. But when you look at it, there's not that much Jim Lee art in this book. So I'm not sure why they built it the way they did. I guess because Jim Lee's name sells. He does have the #1 selling comic of all time. So you got to milk that. So this collects Uncanny X-Men 244 to 269, X-Men Annual 13, and Classic X-Men number 39. So out of all of that, Jim Lee pencils issue 248, 256 to 258, 267 to 269, and then Classic X-Men number 39. So that's 1, 4, 7, 8 issues in this book are penciled by Jim Lee. And this book collects like 27 issues. But anyway, of course, Mark Silvestri does the bulk of the work in this omnibus, and there's a bunch of other people credited as well. Of course, this is all written by Chris Claremont. Well, mostly written. There's other writers on that X-Men Annual and Classic X-Men issue. Now that we got that out of the way, we got our table of contents here, and we jump right in with Uncanny X-Men 244. Oh, this is cool. So we've got a nice little explanation of what happened before, just in case this is your first X-Men story. That's helpful because I'm actually not going to read this one first, but this very well could have been my first older X-Men story. So there you go. You got a little synopsis, and basically stuff that came before this is The Fall of the Mutants and Inferno, which Inferno's got an omnibus coming out in March, so I'm definitely going to be picking that one up too. But here we go. We get started with X-Men 244, and this book is already laying flat. No issues reading it at all. I really wish DC would get their act together, but they're not going to, so it's just wishful thinking. This is kind of blown out. Let's fix that a little bit. There we go. And boom. So, very cool artwork. Like I said, this isn't Jim Lee here, and this is Mark Silvestri. But we got Storm here. Just very, very cool artwork. I've not read this, so I'm not gonna... Oh, there's the cool looking Wolverine. I'm not gonna look at this like one by one. I actually had this single issue. I actually sold it back to my comic shop for store credit. So shout out to Ultimate Comics. But yeah, it's X-Men Annual 13. Very cool. I'm glad I sold that because now it's here. Wolverine doing his thing. Now they're in the Savage Land. There's just some very cool stuff. Look at Havoc. And Wolvie. Look at Colossus. There's Rogue. Storm. a lot going on. Oh, Storm in her little black dress, evening gown. What's going on? Oh, this is the day they meet Jubilee. So here we go. First appearance of Jubilee. Wait. Oh, there's no cover. Where's the cover to the issue? Well, that's whack. But anyway, Jubilation Day. This is where they meet Jubilation Lee. A bunch of people don't like Jubilee for some reason. I don't know why. Seems cool enough to me. But anyway, let's keep moving on. More issues here. Oh wait, it's 246. I think 246 is Jim Lee's first issue on the book. This definitely looks like Jim Lee art right here. I think no, 246 isn't Jim Lee. This is Mark Silvestri still. Jim Lee's first issue is 248. So here's 247. And I clearly just missed that cover of Jubilee. It's obviously in there somewhere. Nice little splash page. What is going on with Wolverine? Why is Wolverine a cyborg? That's clearly got to be something epic there. Boom, boom, boom. Very great. This artwork is really good. I really like this issue. So that was 248. Boom. Here we go. Uncanny X-Men 248. Huh. My issue, I have this issue, and mine has like a pink background. I wonder, oh, this is the second printing gold variant. Boom. There we go. The pink background that I own. Very cool. Now on sale twice a month. Cool, cool. Yo, Stan Lee gets to have his name on everything. When did they stop doing Stan Lee Presents? I wonder. And here we go. Chris Claremont. Pencils by Jim Lee. He's being inked by Dan Green here. Look at that Wolverine. Like, you just know at the beginning. Let's look at this Mark Silvestri issue right here. No disrespect to Mark Silvestri because his artwork is still good, right? Like, this is great artwork. Composition's good. Details are good. There's a nice little action shot, right? But let's compare that first page of X-Men 247 to the first page of X-Men 248. And it's like, yo, Wolverine's claws are jumping off the screen, jumping off the page here. Like, it's clear. A new era is here. Jim Lee drew that. Like, look at that. That is just dope. We got Storm here. So already you can see like a distinct look, a distinct feel. And this is even before Scott Williams starts inking Jim Lee's work. So that's dope. I can't wait to read this book. As you can see, there's like no gutter loss. So that's cool too. Marvel really knows what they're doing with these books. What is this frog guy? Amphibious. So yeah, I'm gonna read or thumb through this a little bit faster here. Overall, I mean, this is just really cool stuff. See this artwork or pencil by Rick Leonardi, inked by Kent Williams on this issue. But yeah, this just looks really good. What I will say is, like, I've been looking at the Uncanny X-Men Omnibus, going through volume 1, and it's really wordy. It's definitely like Silver Age stuff or like Bronze, Golden. I don't know which age is which. I love this cover. Look at that. But yeah, and it's like, it's wordy. There's like all this text to get through. It takes a little while. This, there's not as much text. It's not as wordy. I mean, there's still a lot of text in here, but this looks like it'll read a lot faster. So I'm excited about that. Although I do have 4 volumes of Uncanny X-Men to get through. Volume 4, by the way, does come out in February. I think it comes in like the February 17th week. So if you haven't pre-ordered that, you should definitely do so. Because that's probably going to sell out too. I'm getting the DM variant on that. It's got the John Romita Jr. cover. So here we go. Boom. Another Jim Lee cover. And I mean, man, like this late 80s, early 90s Jim Lee stuff is just great. Like, it's just really good. Like, just looking at this, it's just like, it's so different. Look at the line work. Like, it's just really good. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm talking way too much. But as you can see, I like this book. X-Men issue 258. There we go. There's Jim Lee again. And now he's being inked by Scott Williams, which is probably why you see such a distinct difference. Like, look at that. Jim Lee and Scott Williams is a match made in heaven. Clearly. You got Wolverine meditating. And boom. Just action. Action. Look at this perspective. The 90s hair. Like, it's all there. Wow, look at that page. Look at that. So much to love. So much to love. I love these classic uniforms too. There's a nice little appearance of Psylocke there. Everybody's handling business. Look at Wolvie there. Yeah, I'm excited to get into this book. It looks like it just really kind of picks up towards the end here. Boom, 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 boom. Mark Silvestri back on issue 259. So, I mean, I don't know what the story was, why Jim Lee wasn't just the full-time X-Men artist. Maybe it took a little while to get these issues out, and they were double shipping. So, I don't blame him. Mark Silvestri is very good, too. I mean, honestly, there are some of these where it's like, I think Mark Silvestri is probably the better artist. But once we get into, like, the 270s, which is, like, in the next Omnibus, Jim Lee is just, like, hands down, like, the best artist I've seen on X-Men in those issues. Once you get into, like, Extinction Agenda and stuff like that. And all the way leading up into his Adjectiveless run. So, I'm excited about this Omnibus. But let's see if there are any extras in the back. Oh, there's Gambit. I forgot the first appearance of Gambit's in here. Cool, cool, cool. Alright, so I'm pretty close to the end here. There's another Savage Land issue. Very cool, very cool. Ah, now we got classic 90s costumes. Love it. Gotta love it. That Wolverine face. Alright, so here we go. We've got... Okay, so this is like leading into Extinction Agenda. Very cool. Glad they've got that here. Continues in the X-Men Extinction Agenda hardcover. They're not going to reprint that hardcover, so I wonder why they say that. Like, just get the trade paperback, because the hardcover is going for like $75 on eBay right now. But yeah, so as far as extras, we just got a bunch of covers. So we got an Alpha Flight cover. Yeah, cover gallery by Jim Lee. This Marvel Age, Punisher War Journal. I remember this cover. Like, I've seen this cover so many times. This one's dope. More Punisher and Wolverine. Or Alpha Flight. Look, Jim Lee Spider-Man. Something you don't see every day. Very cool. What if Professor X had become the Juggernaut? What? We got Moon Knight. I'm loving these covers. Ooh. Yeah, this is going to be the cover for the Wolverine Omnibus Volume 2. And now that I see that in person, I think I'm definitely getting this cover instead of the John Byrne cover with that red background. I like this a lot. So, yep, more Alpha Flight. There's a lot of extras in here, actually. Bunch of covers, character designs. Look at that, those pencils on Xavier. And then we got Gambit here. Love those character designs. So, Jim Lee did the character designs for Gambit, but he actually didn't draw that first appearance. So, that's cool. 1989. More character designs. Look at Psylocke. Lady Mandarin. Dude Mandarin. Very cool. And see, here's that Marvel Press poster that they ended up using for the cover, but they did new colors on that cover. So, very cool. inked by Scott Williams there. And there's even a little interview, or a little, is the whole interview in here? Yeah, there's a little interview from Marvel Age number 90. Trading cards. Man, they really packed the extras in this omnibus. Very well done. Very well done. Oh, they had recolored that for a trade paperback and one for Classic. Gambit. Very cool. Very cool. So, all in all. Oh, and here's the cover for the standard edition. Again, I think this is the way to go. This cover is the way to go if you're going to get this book. But I can't complain. I shouldn't complain, and I won't. So that's going to do it for my overview of X-Men by Chris Claremont and Jim Lee Volume 1, the Omnibus. You should definitely pick this up. As I'm recording it, it is still available, although probably in limited quantities. It's on in-stock trades, it's on cheap graphic novels, and your local comic shop may have it too. So definitely check with them. Hope you saw something that you liked in this video. If not, it's cool. You can always buy what you like. Make sure you read what you buy, and be nice to others, because kindness makes the world go round. Peace.